guys, it's your girl, Becca Sarah. I hope you're doing amazing. I'm doing fine. So today I am doing a recap on a movie that just came out, and plus I'm going to do a recap on a musical that is the same but shorter, but probably the same length, but around the same topic. And you're wondering, Becca, what are you talking about? I am going to do a recap, in my opinion, on the biopic, Michael Jackson, the movie, the film, everything like that. I'm going to also, because I saw MJ the musical, I am going to do a recap on that, put that all together, and that is my podcast for today. So, I have no cons, really. I guess, like, the only con would be, which is probably a spoiler, would be I cried through this movie. So, that's the con, that I cried. And then maybe, like, the prosthetic nose that they did. But other than that, like, this movie was really good. I know I saw mixed reviews, mainly from critics, and like I said before, if I haven't, critics, are you actually, like, paid critics? That's what you do for a living. You see a zillion and 10 movies. Are you actually watching the film? Are you actually watching the film? Are you actually sitting in theaters? Or if they gave you access to it at home, are you actually sitting and watching the film? Or are you listening to it, seeing bits here and there, being like, what's this happening? I'm confused, what's happening? Because there's been films, again, I don't listen to critics' opinions at all, because I don't think at this point they actually watch the film. I think if they like a person, they'll give it a harsh review. Or if they don't get it, or it's like less depressing, or the second part is like more depressing, or they don't get it. They don't really watch the films and critique the films. I go more on the opinions of everybody else, like friends or other people, or that actually watched the films, because I know they actually sat down with their own money, or if they were sponsored with, they were paid to watch it, and actually sat down at home or in a movie theater, watched the whole thing, and paid attention to every bit. So this is why I think it's split. The critics probably might say it's bad. The fans of Michael Jackson and other people, moviegoers, liked it. So, spoiler alert, if you did not know, Jafar Jackson, who is Michael Jackson's nephew, I believe it, I want to make sure I say the Jermaine Jackson. So, Michael's brother is Jermaine, his son, who is Jafar, JJ. His name starts with a J. His son's name starts with a J. That's his son. That's so Jermaine's son, who is Jafar, who is Michael's nephew. He played Michael, and I love how they put a family member, like they had Michael's nephew play him, because he knows his uncle. He spent a lot of time with his uncle. Like, he knows his uncle's mannerisms, everything like that. Overall, he did a good job. He had a very great singing voice. Did great with the acting. At points, I saw a review from one of, I love him. His name is Chris. Let me get his last name for you guys. Give me 1 second. Shepherd. I'm pretty sure that's how you say his last name. I'm probably wrong. Sometimes I'm bad with names at time. So it's Sapphire. He was on The Circle. Great personality. I love him. I agree with Chris completely. Like, he sounds like Micheal. Like, how he's saying sounded like Micheal. So it sounded like, wait, he wasn't actually singing, but I believe he was actually singing. But he did a phenomenal job overall, and I liked his recap of the movie. If you're a Michael Jackson fan, you'll like the movie. I feel like even if you're not a Michael Jackson fan, and then you're just a fan of movies, a fan of biopics, you will enjoy this movie. I believe this biopic is a good biopic. There's been some that are hit and miss, but this one I say it's a hit overall. So I'm gonna continuing on. I'm gonna first start with MJ the Musical. I saw it. I loved it. So this is all gonna be spoilers. So in the musical, it's about the Thriller album, and Michael's having an interview with a journalist on MTV and talking about his childhood and his trauma and his dad so we talk about his childhood and his dad, Joe, who's a horrible person. He's an abuser, clout chaser, money hungry, anything negative you can say. He is a cheater, everything. That he abused Micheal. I'm pretty sure he abused the mom, and all the kids. Like, he's just that kind of dude. He's just a terrible human being. And Micheal has always, like, when you watch the biopic, and it also when you watch the movie, you'll see, like, how terrifying Joe Jackson is to his kids, to Micheal, all of the other, like, terrible man. Cheated on their mother as well. Like, terrible man. The only thing I was like, through all this, like, you witness with their mom, like, you witness, like, him being terrible to I know it's probably hard because they're Jehovah's Witnesses and anything, but, like, you witness, like, him hurting your children, especially Micheal, constantly. And I'm pretty sure, like, she didn't completely step in because she was like, oh yeah, I would be his next victim after. But leave that jerk, especially when you guys had the means to, aka, like, when the Jackson 5 and Micheal, like, you had the money and the funds to do so. Leave that a-hole. Divorce him. And I love how both the musical and the biopic show how a monster he is. Monsters should be exposed. Also, something I learned from the musical, and this makes me look at Thriller a different way, the song Thriller. I thought it was just like a Halloween song that Micheal wanted to do, something fun, something very cool and stuff. And when I found out like I said, this is all gonna be spoilers. When I found out from the musical, Thriller is about his dad and how his dad abused him. And how his dad, like, would just hit him for no reason, and at the middle of the night, his dad, because he was angry or whatever, would hit him. Like, abuse is not love. It's not. You're making your child scared of you for no reason. Did he do nothing wrong? No. He was just, like, for example, in the movie, and even in the musical, Michael was standing up and saying, "Dad, we're tired." And then Joe would just like, "What do you mean you're tired?" And then would hit him. Let them sleep. We didn't see the physical abuse that he did to the mom, but like we saw the mother constantly be like, "They have school tomorrow. They should go to sleep." And he would be like, "What do you mean they have school tomorrow? Who cares? What do you mean? They have to rehearse." What? I'm like, dude, come on. You're starting arguments for no reason. You're being abusive for no reason. They have school tomorrow. Michael is 10. The others are probably like, they're teenagers. They're still legally supposed to go to school. So what do you mean? Like, come on now. Like, can we cancel Joe Jackson? Like, come on. You're just a horrible human being. So we see in this biopic when he's younger, he was very isolated. Kids would make fun of him. Kids just wanted to be friends with Michael because of his fame. And he felt very isolated and that no one liked him. He got a lot of animals. Like, he would like, I remember there was giraffes. There was, he got a pet monkey. He got a snake. I was like, Michael, snakes are scary. No with the snakes. Like, there was like one scene, like him, I get with a girlfriend, and there was a snake, and then he had to eat dinner or had to use the washroom or something, and she just stayed in the room waiting for her. I'm like, girl, I would leave. You're not staying. I'm not staying in your room with a snake. Me personally, because I don't like snakes or bugs or spiders. If you have a snake, if you have any kind of bug, if you have a spider, I am not coming to your house. And I feel like that's like, if you have an animal that, for people that you're scared of, that I don't go to your house. Like, and I feel like that's how it should be universal. That's a different topic. Anyway, so he was very isolated. Again, Joe, terrible father. Be kind to people. Be kind to people. Be kind to people. Especially your kids. How you treat them, how you bully them will affect how they see themselves. Joe would constantly make fun of Michael because of his nose and be like, "You have a big nose, you have a big nose, you have a big nose." To the point, I think Michael's 18 years old at this point, and he gets plastic surgery to fix his nose. You want to know why? Because Joe kept making fun of his nose. And what I thought was very, like, interesting, that he called his dad Joe. And that, by itself, I feel like, because you never treated him as a son, because you never treated him with love and respect and kindness, he's like, no, you're just an authority figure. He calls you Joe. I'm like, yeah, as he should. When they were still the Jackson 5, there was and this was an amazing producer that came up to Michael and was like, "Let me show you how to record music. Let me show you how to make music, to make a song, all that and the other. And I'm trying to get his name. It wasn't Quincy. It was before Quincy. It wasn't Barry. It doesn't show me. Yes, so that producer, he was trying to show Michael how to record music. And then Joe was like, no, we have to go. And then he was like, thank you, Mr., which is why I'm trying to get his name. Thank you so much for helping me. And we could see through the theater, and our friends of mine and I were talking about, oh, he's probably going to get in trouble or hit because he gave that producer a hug. And looking at that producer's face, I could see, like, it might have been his name. Oh, I found it. It was Barry Gordy. Okay. He was like, thank you, Mr. Gordy. And he was like, no, call me Barry. Thank you for helping me learn how to produce and helping me, like, teaching me these stuff, and gave him a hug. And friends and I were looking at each other at that point, and when we finished watching the movie, it was like, he probably got hit for just saying thank you and hugging that dude. You have a child that's well-mannered being like, hi, Mr. da-da-da, hi, thank you, being kind, and, thank you for teaching me. And then Mr. Gordon was like, you're welcome anytime. I will help you anytime after this. And because your son is doing that and being kind and saying thank you and gave him a hug, you're going to hit him after? Because we could tell by Joe's body language, how he looked. He was like, okay, I'm going to hit you when we get home. Like, come on. And then there was a scene after that, like, he was pointing to the belt and for indicating that he was telling Michael to get his belt to hit him. Like, come on, you're just an abuser. Like, you're a horrible person. You're hitting your children and your wife and whoever for no reason. Come on. That's not discipline. You're not disciplined. You're causing pain and harm. Just terrible. The amount of pain and abuse that Michael endured as a child was terrible, frightening, and to the point that, like, when he wanted his dad to not, when he wanted Joe to no longer be his manager, he had to use someone else to do it because he's terrified of his dad. Because, again, he's, like, in his 20s at this point, like 18 to 20s. I'm like, at that point, you're an adult. You should be able to, like, do whatever. But apparently his dad, because he still lives with his parents, he's like, oh, my dad can still hit me. My dad can still do this, that. Like, and I like the point after he had his lawyer, who is played by Miles Teller, and he was like, can you tell my dad, and he would do that with, like, other people from his label. Okay, he's like, can you tell my dad I no longer want him to manage me? And he sent the fax, and then his mom, so John sent that, who was played by Michael Teller, his lawyer, sent it over, and then Joe, who was talking to his mother, whose name, because I hate just calling her his mother, Uh, her name, dude, I just had it. Give me a second, my friends. Catherine was like, what are you gonna do? Hit. They're grown. We're grown. I love how she finally stood up for herself. Catherine finally stood up for herself and her boys, and they're like, we're all grown. The boys are grown. The girls are grown. Everybody's grown. What are you gonna do? Still hit them? You can't hit them anymore. They're all grown. And I'm like, thank you. I would have loved for you to say that a long time ago. I know they weren't probably that they grown, but I love how she finally stood up for herself. Because at that moment before, because she was like standing her ground, I was like, when she started talking and speaking up for herself and defending herself, I felt like he was gonna hit her, and I was like, oh, he's gonna hit you. And then she's like, oh, I don't care, go ahead. And for the first time, he actually was like, okay, I'm not gonna hit people anymore. And it took how long? A zillion years. We saw, so this movie, a lot of, we found out a lot about his childhood, and also to everybody that thinks he bleached his skin, he did not bleach his skin. He had a pigment issue, melanoma. I forget how to say it, because it was also talked about in the musical, which is why his skin became white, and that's why he wore the glove. And I forget what model this is. Her skin, she's like, I believe she's affected by that too. It's not everybody has it, but it's common. It's like not a very common, but like a percentage of people have it. And I know this model, some of her skin is black, some of her skin is white. So it's like she's like half and half color, and it has nothing to do with like people bleaching their skin. It has to do with like that disease that you have that takes away your pigment. And through all this, we see how much hardship Michael Jackson did. The third degree burn. Okay, let's talk about the third degree burn that he had at the Pepsi commercial. I'm a Pepsi person. And he was in the hospital. He almost died. His dad's like, so when can they come back on tour? Dude, and I love how the doctor said this too. Your son almost died. And then Joe is like, yeah, he almost died, but when can he go back on tour? I'm like, so you don't care. A snake shows their skin time and time again. If it's a snake, it will show you it's a snake. He's a snake. Like, he doesn't care if his children die. He doesn't. Will he mourn them? No. All he thinks about is the money that I can make from them. Leech. He's a leech. He saw the talent of his children, wanted to exploit it, wanted them to not have anything, wanted them to be perfection, crazy. He's the problem. If for the Jacksons themselves, the whole family, they have issues, it's because of Joe Jackson and how horrible he is overall. And we also see in the movie how Michael, he cares about children, and his insurance money that he wanted to help the children, and how caring and compassionate he was, and how loving he was, and how he cared about children, how he cared about animals, how he loved and cared about his mother, Catherine. There's one thing that I want answers. I probably won't get an answer to it. Is that the Jacksons, they call, and I respect why they call their dad Joe, because he's a, sorry for my cursing, he's a piece of shit. He's a terrible human being. Right. They have no respect for him because he treats them like trash and hits them all the time. But I'm having a feeling that they are not allowed to call their mom, right? And he said, don't call them mom, call her mother, right? Or whatever. Because they always called her mother. But I love seeing the amazing moments that Micheal had with his mom. They would watch old film, Chapman, and other people together. They had a really close bond, and I loved that. And overall, I'm gonna cut this because I will just blabber about the movie. Overall, the movie is really good. Bring your tissues. The musical is really good. Bring your tissues. I feel like the movie was a longer version of the musical. I would say watch the movie, then if you're able to watch Micheal the movie, and then if you're able to see the musical, see that after, or see the musical first and then watch the movie. Either or, but I would watch both because they're both awesome, meaningful, and you'll learn more about Michael Jackson. And don't judge a book by its cover, and don't trust the media, because the media likes to spin. And I think also Joe ruined his children's reputation as well, and whatever to sell to get more money, whatever it took to get money, because he only cares about the money. He doesn't care about anyone else but the money. Again, there was also, when he was 70, was something out there that he cheated on Catherine. Joe cheated on Catherine with another woman. I believe it. I believe he was cheating on his wife and abusing his wife before they were famous, when they were famous, after the divorce, during the divorce, everything. He's just a terrible person. So that's it for today. I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.